over 20 years experience implementing ERP solutions in many industries, including food and beverage. I'm delighted to be joined by Robert Emin, who's the channel manager at Aptean. And Robert will introduce himself in a few minutes, and also Aptean. Welcome to the first series of webinars that ProStrategy and our ISV partner Aptean will be doing over the next 12 months, focusing on the food and beverage industry, and with particular focus on Microsoft 365 Business Central food and beverage applications. So the focus of today's webinar is adapting your food and beverage business to market changes using specific ERP and business applications. And Robert, he'll expand on that phrase into specific ERP during his introduction. Okay, so firstly, let's look at this morning's agenda. We're going to start with a quick introduction to ProStrategy and Aptean. And Aptean have commissioned a global firm called IDC to survey over 650 food and beverage companies. And we're going to take you through some of the highlights of that report. And we'll have particularly focus on two trends that came out of that survey. One, firstly, economic uncertainty is increasing focus on efficiency. And secondly, automation is addressing labor and skills shortages. We will then finish with a Q&A session, and please feel free to post any questions in the chat, and we'll do our best to answer those at the end. We're going to record the session, so if you want to share it afterwards. But first, a little bit about ProStrategy before we dive into today's main topic. Okay, so ProStrategy's purpose is to help businesses grow through technology-driven transformation. We're a Microsoft Gold business partner, and we implement Microsoft Dynamics Business Central ERP, including Aptean F&B apps and Dynamics CRM applications. We help companies transform and grow through streamlining their processes, enabling customer engagement, driving enhanced performance, and providing AI-driven insights. We're over 35 years in existence, delivering customer success, and we have a team of 70 staff with offices in Dublin and Cork. All our processes are ISO certified, and all our project managers are PMI or Prince qualified, and we've delivered over 400 projects. Okay, I guess over the last few years, we have redefined our offering, and we now focus on 5 key pillars, namely manufacturing, service, distribution, food and drink, and retail. And we make the most of the experience of our people in those sectors to add value to clients. So ProStrategy specific food and beverage solution in partnership with Aptean offers fully integrated ERP solution with specific requirements for the food companies, and we will show you some of those functionalities during today's presentation. Okay, this is just a sample of some of our customer base. So you can see at the top, we've recently started projects with Musgraves and LaRousse Foods. We have other food customers in there like Traditional Cheese, Nomadic Dairies, Gem, Teeling, etc. And that's just some of our ERP client base. Also in customer engagement, we have customers like Carberry, Tenants, and Payzone. And we also have an analytics practice on some of our customers, including Aer Lingus, Primark, C&D Foods. Okay, Robert, just going to hand you over to Robert quickly, and Robert's just going to give a quick introduction to himself and to Aptean.
Thank you very much, Mark. So first of all, I'm delighted to be here today, so thank you all for attending. So my name is Robert Emme. As you probably can hear, I'm not native Irish. I am from the Netherlands, working at Aptean for over 5 years. But the fun thing about me is, even though I look quite young, I've been told I'm working in food companies for almost my entire life. So even when I was a student, I always worked with food associated companies. So for me, that stays that I've got quite a passion for this industry, and I always think it is one of the most fun industries and most challenging industries to be in. If I talk a bit about Aptean, Aptean is a global company, but we have got an American entity and a European entity. The European is where you're talking to right now, obviously. Globally, we do 600 million revenue, but from that revenue, 10% is what we invest back into our products, meaning that Aptean is key and has a specific focus to invest back in products that we have. So of that 60 million that we invest in our global product portfolio, 40% is invested in our food and beverage products. So what I state is that Aptean has a key focus on this industry, and most of our investments going into this industry as well, because we see the big challenges that standard ERP has for food and beverage solutions. So we see the value, how we can help your business increase efficiency. If you look about the employees, give or take 700 are day in, day out working in the food and beverage industry. So from that 4,500, 700 are only thinking about challenges which your company faces. From customers, give or take 1,200 to 1,500 are in some sort of part using our food and beverage applications across the platforms that we have. Yeah, next slide, please. Or I can. So if you look at what we say is the Aptean advantage. So our company bases the solution and the development, what we do, on best practices. Meaning we have done over 500 to maybe 1,000 implementations across the stack, is that we focus on what does work best in multiple companies, that we see some type of working and we incorporate that in how we build a solution. So what we see is we let the industry lead the technology, meaning that we base it on what we see that the industry needs. We adjust the technology to facilitate in that. The second thing is we have access to global markets. I think one of the customers that ProStrategy is working on has shown it now. ProStrategy is the main contractor in that case, and we are working together with some local experts as well to ensure that ProStrategy can help the customer in a proper way. As mentioned in my previous one, the technology and product innovation is huge in Aptean. Aptean is what we call a ISV, so an independent software vendor. We build and we use the Microsoft technology because it's the most advanced, and we add our product innovation and food-specific innovation on that. And that is eventually results that in local execution, i.e. ProStrategy, with a global scale, which is Aptean backing it up. So that is a match made in heaven, if you would ask me as well. If you look at our products, they are indeed purpose-built. So we build for the food industry. And one of the key things for us is to get that strong customer satisfaction and also the evidence. So we work together with customers to get customer cases as well, to build up profitability, to ensure that the customers are happy together. And of course, as mentioned, the solution, because it is purpose-built, it meets the unique industry demands. So quality, for example, there are multiple things within the food and beverage industry that are key to cover. So that is one of the things that our products are delivering. If you look at our global footprint, so why do I mention it? 5 years ago, it was 90% America. You see a change in Aptean. Aptean sees Europe as a key part of their business. So within the globe, we have got 18 offices. And you see there the tiny dot Ireland isn't filled in because these are only the places where we've got offices. If you look at customers, we've got customers on every continent, on every part of the globe. So we've got customers in South America, Africa, Asia, Australia, Europe, Middle East, and the North Americas. And this results in, of course, some typologies and customers that we have helped in the past already. So within Aptean, what we see is we make distinguishment between certain typologies for businesses, because every business has their own complexity, but we have, based on experience, what we saw, we see a pattern in some type of businesses and what they do. So for example, production fresh adds additional complexity towards how to handle this with ERP, meaning you need to ensure that you've got a fast turnaround, right? Because goods will perish faster. So that is a bit more complex. So we add a lot of flexibility to the solution. production long shelf life, we would consider, together with trade long shelf life, from food and beverage, the least complex. Not meaning that they aren't complex. They still are, because you've got a lot of regulations and such to maintain. But we have made these typologies based on all the implementations that we have done ourselves as well and via partners. If you look at what we say, what is ERP and what are the type of decisions and the type of solutions we have, and not only we, but there are in the globe. So the first one is a bespoke grown ERP. A lot of times it fits everybody's needs on a basic level, but it is very complex to maintain. It's very costly to ensure if you want to change something or such. Besides that, there is, and that's meaning on the horizontal X, there is also single ERP. We say single ERP as Microsoft, for example. Microsoft fits all and is an extremely streamlined solution how to use it. Left above, you've got the industry-specific solutions, and that is complex, best of breed. There's a lot of integration works, a lot of different type of things, but they work, they are industry-specific, but again, they are very complex to maintain. If you look on the right top, we have utilized the best of both worlds. We have utilized Microsoft to get that standard technology base in, and we have focused within our team to make it specific for the food and beverage industry. And that is what we would like to call a specialist ERP.
Okay, thanks for that, Robert. And we'll touch on that theme during the rest of the webinar. I suppose a quick introduction to Business Central. So Business Central, again, it's your operational application to manage and maintain your day-to-day business. Okay, and then that's backed up with Dynamics customer engagement on the right, allowing you to interact and engage with your customers and employees on a much more detailed level. Okay, and then underpinning that, we've got the wider Microsoft ecosystem with Power Platform, Power BI, and Power Apps, and they allow for no-code, low-code developments, as opposed to enhance any niche functionalities at a low cost. So, and as Robert said, I think Robert will just take you through what Aptean have built on top of Business Central.
Yeah. Robert? So as mentioned, it's a specialist ERP. So we always consider ERP as the base, because ERP is your master data part of the organization, right? And you want to have one single source of truth. So ERP is the base, and within the ERP part, we've got two types that are standardly integrated already from this hub and spoke solution, which is quality management, and we've got some cool screenshots of and cool visuals on that later, and plant operations, meaning your production process. How do you capture that data on the production floor to make sure that you know your cost, for example, you know how long it takes to do certain production, which will bring you, again, efficiency and will allow you to make choices to be more efficient. We've got a bunch of other products which are standardly integrated with us as well, meaning that we will take care of every of those integrations because they are all part of our portfolio. So that is what we always like to do. We like to start with ERP and see what you need over your time to ensure that you will get that efficiencies that you needed. Thank you, Mark.
Okay, thanks, Robert. Okay, so I guess in recent years, the food industry has been reminded that change is inevitable. And no sooner have we recovered from the pandemic that food companies have faced new challenges. For example, rising inflation was due to the war in Ukraine and leading to supply chain bottlenecks. So I guess, how have world events impacted food companies' operational strategies, and how will they influence their priorities in 2023? To understand this, Aptean commissioned a global analyst firm called IDC, and they surveyed over 650 food and beverage companies in North America, Europe, the UK, and Ireland. Okay, and today we're going to share some of the findings of that survey and introduce some of the Aptean food and beverage applications that will help you stay ahead of this inevitable change curve. Okay, so the survey revealed, I guess, the following 6 trends. Okay, first trend, digital transformation is demonstrating tangible benefits. Okay, so I guess digital transformation is no longer a goal for food and beverage companies, it's reality. And the survey 99% of organizations are now in the process of digitally transforming their operations, and 1 in 5 have already completed this transformation and are using the data to influence their decisions. Okay, so the second trend, supply chain resilience, is still work in progress. So supply chain management will continue to be a major food concern for food companies in 2023, with the survey citing 3 in 10 lack. So with 3 in 10 citing lack of visibility and flexibility as the most problematic gap in their digital transformation strategy. And one significant reason for this is the lack of system integration, with less than 46% of organizations having integrated their supply chain management with their ERP.
Yeah, I don't know, just electricity has gone there, small.
Sorry? Can we, is everyone on mute? Yeah, oh, sorry. Okay, so the third trend is around outsourcing partnerships. Okay, so many organizations acknowledge that they can only grow so far using their own in-house resources. And to combat this, industry's leaders are forming outsourced partnerships to scale production capability and also to increase their speed to market. So 3/4 surveyed of the food companies now outsource some element of their production, with a third anticipating their reliance on contract manufacturing or co-packing partnerships will increase in 2023. Okay, so the fourth trend, sustainability, will prove pivotal to connecting with consumers. So 30% of food companies say customer appetite is driving their focus on eco-friendly processes and product offerings, and 28% believe sustainability will give them a competitive advantage in the marketplace. So sustainability also interacts with efficiency objectives, with 27% of organizations hoping it will reduce waste and energy consumption. Okay, so the next trend, automation, is addressing labor and skill shortages. We're going to go into that one in more detail in the second part of the webinar. And the final trend, which I'll cover after this slide, is economic uncertainty is increasing focus on efficiency. Okay, and I suppose the common theme is change is the main constant. I suppose not only, particularly in the food and beverage production. Okay. Okay, so we're now going to focus on 2 of these trends. So I guess how will food manufacturers, producers, and distributors prepare for these trends and adapt their businesses to market changes in 2023 and beyond? How will these trends influence food and beverage company strategies in the next 12 to 18 months? And how can an industry-specific ERP solution like Aptean help organizations achieve their goals? Okay, so after 3 difficult years, I guess the food and beverage market looks no calmer in 2023. And this is weighing on the minds of producers, manufacturers, and distributors. Okay, I guess pandemic fears have been replaced by concerns over rising inflation, energy costs, and international conflicts. In fact, 1 in 5 companies say macroeconomic and geopolitical shifts will be a major concern over the next 5 years. Okay. With uncontrollable factors influence performance and profitability, food and beverage companies are looking to offset the external uncertainties with internal efficiencies. And you can see from the survey, 1/3 of organizations plan to prioritize operational improvements and waste reduction in 2023. 35% are looking to reduce supply chain waste, and 30% want to reduce energy and water consumption. Okay. Investment in enterprise technology will prove pivotal to delivering these operational efficiencies. And despite market pressures, half of the companies surveyed predict their technology spend will increase by 25% or more over the next 12 months. Okay, so just for this part, I'm going to do a quick poll. So when I launch the poll, if you can select maybe the top 2 concerns from the list that are relevant to your industry. So let me just kick off the poll, and then we can compare that to the survey. Okay. Okay, so you should see the poll on the screen. Hopefully we should start seeing some of the results coming through. We'll just give people a couple of seconds on that. Robert, can you see that? Can everyone see the poll? Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
We can, Mark, yeah.
Okay. Okay, so we can see so far the top 3 are rising inflation, ongoing or future geopolitical conflict, and the top one so far is talent labor shortages, which isn't a surprise. I think that's impacting all industries, and including our own in the software industry. That is certainly a challenge. Okay. Okay, so we'll publish the findings. So I think based on the survey here, among people attending, I think 43% say talent labor shortages is the #1 external pressure. Second is rising inflation, 29%, and third is ongoing future geopolitical conflict. Okay. Okay. Okay, thank you very much for that. Okay, so if we compare that to the 650 companies, I think there's quite a close alignment. So the survey showed that rising inflation was #1. So concern, and #2 was ongoing political geo conflict, then followed by total labor shortages. So I guess maybe the total labor shortage seems to be becoming a bigger concern as we go through 2023. Okay, and you can see some of the other concerns around changing consumer expectations, sustainability mandates, and hopefully we've seen the end of COVID-19, but I guess it's still a concern, albeit a smaller concern. Okay. Okay, so I suppose what does that mean? So operational efficiency and digital transformation, I guess, go hand in hand. And to run leaner, you need to benchmark your performance and establish realistic goals. And digital transformation investment is enabling more and more food companies to set clear KPIs and create strategies for improvement. So automating operations and enhancing data insights can allow you as a business to optimize stock, ingredient usage, quality control, distribution, and product development, all in real time. Okay, and hopefully we'll show you some of those tools later in the demo, and that's all in line with customer demand. Okay, so in Ireland, there was 1.1 million tons of food wasted each year. Okay, that's a growing figure, and the incremental improvements that we highlighted in the last slide will help you prevent things like spoilage, giveaway, overproduction that make your operation less financially and materially efficient. So integrating data with production planning tools enables your company to plan more efficiently, profitably, and sustainably. Okay, so Robin referenced how a specialist ERP provider like Aptean can deliver technology efficiency and business alignment. So Aptean have invested thousands of hours taking best practice in the food and beverage industry across the globe to develop business applications specific to the food industry. And these are fully embedded in Business Central. So we were just going to take one or two of those applications, sort of linked in with the efficiency theme. And Robert was going to just take you through the quality control app and some functionality around expiration management that are included in the Aptean solution. So I don't know, Robert, do you want to keep this slide or do you want me to jump to the next one? So this slide is showing a list of the different applications across the functionalities that Aptean have added to the suite. So Robert, I just hand over to you now.
Yeah, perfect. Thank you.
Okay.
So indeed, one of the first things and one of the crucial things I think nowadays, and it's become more and more crucial, is quality. I always like to use a sort of an anecdote, because one of my former colleagues, she used to study quality at the University of Erasmus in the Netherlands. And she told me that when she was young, people were smoking cigarettes even in the production, in the food business. For me, that was already so unrealistic, and I couldn't comprehend these type of things happening 20 years ago. So let alone if those type of changes happen for quality perspective, for people being aware of what's good and what's bad, imagine how much more important quality will become over the years. One of the other things what the quality app allows you to do is allows you to get rid of your paper in the wet or production environment. We all know within food, it's a little bit moist, it's a little bit tempered, there's a certain temperature in there. Maybe, well, indeed, wet, people will get lost, will lose some of these papers. So a tablet is something which is a ruggedized device, of course, which will eliminate all these things which you don't want to spend additional time on. The one thing as well is this allows you to prevent most of the times, but also to ensure that if there happens to be a recall, that you're covered. These quality checks ensure that you will have an audit trail in the back as well, so you can prove if something happens from a consumer perspective, and it's all something which we'd like to not talk about that much, but if something happens, you know that within your audit trail, you've taken every step needed to ensure that your goods are in the quality confirmed to certain certifications or certain legislations in the market as well. It will also reduce your risk. It will also reduce some of the risk for your business as well. So this quality app eventually is what we call a framework. It will allow you to put these questions in based on the parameters that you think are necessary for your company to cover your checks and to do your checks properly. So some can be just cleaning, or maybe just clean production lines. Some can be pH values, but also, of course, some E-weight measurements. So what are the E numbers on your product? So you want to measure some of those as well, but also expiration dates. You want to ensure that you can cover your expiration products, and you can cover that you don't ship out goods that are not conform to your customers' demands anymore because of expiration. As mentioned, these are all parameters, and you are able to set it up in the way that you want. So eventually you've got a quality plan set up, which also allows you to take certain actions. The second thing, which I would like to highlight as well, because a lot of times these are correlated, right, is expiration management. Expiration management, what we have added, and that's a thing which is what we have seen always in the food, it's not a FIFO, but a FIFO, meaning not first in, first out, but first expired, first out. And that is one of the key things within the food, because you want to reduce, as we saw earlier, the 1.1 million tonnage of spillage or waste within Ireland. We want to get that down, because spillage is not good. It's a waste of, well, first of all, it's bad for the carbon footprint, but it's also bad for your wallet. Let's be very honest about that as well. So we've built in certain triggers that allow you to cover expiration dates and to ensure that you're more up to date with certain things, and to ensure that actions can be taken prior for goods to expire. And I think that is one of the key things which we see within every food business, which they love to use. So how does that look eventually? First of all, you will set it up on an item. You will set up a certain standard expiration date for a good produce. This one is valid for a year, so assume this is a frozen product, right? So if you look at the top one, you see the 365 days. Below, you also see a minimum purchase, and that S means shelf life, and a minimum sale shelf life. This allows you to stop goods coming in from your vendor or to stop goods for going out if they don't, if they are not following these rules. So if you get a good in with a shorter shelf life than 5 months, it will give you a trigger and it will block the good immediately. So you can do a quality check, so you can ensure that it is conform your requirements, or you can send it back and create a non-conformance based on this. The same with the minimum shelf life. What this does, this helps you, together with the expiration action calculation, this helps you to put your salespeople to take actions when a good is about to reach a minimum sales shelf life. So prior to the 3 weeks, 7 days prior to that, the salesperson will get a response, hey, you need to sell this good right now. Maybe do a promotion with it or such, because we don't want to get goods wasted. We don't want to lose that money. The other thing what we've done as well is we made it easier within ERP to make things visual. Visual and colors are uniform and the same across the globe. Red is bad, orange is rare, and green is good. So if you see here, immediately you see that the favor inventory warning is checked. So that is something which you selected. The thing is what needs to worry you when you do this certain tracking is that the minimum shelf life is not correct. So your minimum shelf life from the goods that you've received are not in line with what you agreed. So for you, as a purchaser or as a quality department, this immediately rings a bell. You need to take certain actions to prevent this good from coming in, because this will put additional pressure on your company, and this might also cost you money eventually. If you look further, and this is all, of course, integrated in Business Central, is the expiration action date, sales action date, and just regular expiration date. But I want to especially focus on the last one here, the number of expiration date changes. Key within food is to get your audit sorted, meaning that if something happens, which we all assume not will, if something happens, we need to ensure that you can trace back, that you can show all the audits which you have done to be in line with certain legislation or agreements with customers. So it even records the number of expiration date changes, which also gives a reason why they has changed. Maybe you froze it, so you can say, hey, this expiration date is longer because we put it in the freezer for half a year, something like that. So it allows you again to grab that data to ensure that you are covered and you will make right decisions and you will waste less food. Next one, please.
Yeah, sorry, Robert, just got
No
stuck
worries.
there.
No worries. So here again, this shows more in depth your audit. So you can see, and the functional administrator, apologies, that's our general username, you can pinpoint that to a certain person as well. So you can ask people and you can help people accountable. And I think that is key with an especially demanding consumer request with regards to quality, with regards to how critic they are nowadays towards food companies. You can be very clear internally on who has done what and why have they done it. So you can see here that the expiration date is changed. You can see the type of change and which field, but also you can see, for example, a bit more above, is that there is a QC required. But it shows in general the total process what you can grasp, and it shows your audit, so you are covered. Thank you.
Okay, that's great, Robert. And we'll show 2 more applications at the end of the next section. So I suppose that brings me to the next trend. So we're just going to focus here on automation is addressing labor and skill shortages. I think that was the #1 result that came in the survey. So I guess one of the most significant challenges impacting food companies currently, and I would say all companies, is a chronic shortage of people and skills. So while attracting the right talent has always been a goal for manufacturers, producers and distributors, food industry workers are in short supply. Okay, so the survey revealed that 35% of organizations say lack of talent and skill will be their biggest barrier to digital transformation in 2023, and that compares to 20% in 2022. Okay, so that's a significant jump within 12 months. Yeah. As recruitment programs continue, many food and beverage organizations are looking at how infrastructural efficiencies and digital automation can offset staff requirements and convert manual processes into machine-led operations. Okay, so we've already noted earlier that 50% of companies plan to significantly increase their enterprise software investment over the next 12 months. And the most desired technologies include ERP, business intelligence, and human capital management solutions and platforms that not only drive efficiency, but also productivity. Okay, so I think it's all about driving efficiency within the organization. Okay. But despite the investment in technology, there are internal obstacles that food organizations must address to become technology-led. And almost a quarter of food producers, manufacturers, and distributors say resistance to change is a barrier to digital transformation. I would have thought that number would be higher. I think one of the key things here is don't leave your change management to chance, and investing in change management capabilities is as important as investing in the technology. Okay. And then I just took a subset of the survey, and you can see across all functions, there is a move away from what Robert described earlier, from homegrown and manual systems, and there's a trend towards industry-specific software like Aptean. Okay, and this allows food companies to leverage F&B apps without having to manage large-scale developments. So ProStrategy is a company we're seeing a move where 7-8 years ago, we would have put in Business Central as a base application, and we would have had a team of developers developing functionality for specific industries. There's now a move towards ISVs like Aptean. They have invested thousands of hours and they've taken best practice from all over the world to put into the solution. Okay, so this will allow you to run your solution on the Microsoft ecosystem. And we do see that trend from the industry-specific blue increasing over the years. Okay. Okay. So, okay, what does this mean for your 2023 strategy? So I guess smart food manufacturers will turn the current labor crisis, I guess, into an opportunity to reassess their recruitment challenges, which albeit are frustrating, but provide an ideal business case for automating manual tasks to improve consistency, accuracy, and speed of adoption. So digital optimization will reduce the headcount in your organization, and it needs to maintain output and also make your company more attractive to tech-savvy employees. Okay. Okay. And that sort of leads on to digital literacy. That's becoming a key recruitment pillar for the food industry as they attract younger people. They expect certain digital devices to be at their fingertips when they join the organization. Okay. Okay. And building an internal culture of innovation through operating software will complement the skills and resources of your business, attracting the right people. Okay. Okay, so becoming a data-driven organization will streamline your communications, formalize data capture, and improve your knowledge transfer. And I guess a problem with a lot of companies, there is a lot of critical information in silos, and this helps get that information out of people's heads and to systemize it. Okay, so you protect your business if people leave. Okay, okay, so we're now going to show 2 more applications. Robert's going to take you through the shop floor production, which is very relevant to automating tasks, particularly on the factory floor, and then also going to look at catch weight. Okay, so Robert.
All right, so thank you very much once again, Mark. So shop floor, one of the key things here is what we do is we allow it in an easy way. So Mark already mentioned the change management. As you can see, the screen left, it is well, I always make the joke that I can use it quite easily, which results in a good usability. So what this does is this allows you to capture all the data on the shop floor. And as Mark mentioned, data is key nowadays to make certain decisions. A data-driven company has better insights in their costs, has better insights in the inefficiencies, and can take more grounded actions, meaning better actions based on data, which I think data in general never lies. Data is true if you fill it in correctly, of course. But it also helps you to save time with production runs, but also with eliminated change of workaround. So if you, the key example that I always mention is you start with white chocolate, then milk, then black, because you don't want pure chocolate to affect the color of white chocolate. So you can allow those schedules to fit in to ensure that you will save time on turning machines around. So again, this will help you as well to save time for people who are doing labor, which you want to do the production itself. It also allows to eliminate handwritten things within the company as well. So you don't want people to hand write down how many goods they have sold, because then again, you still need to capture the data because of your inventory. So why don't you use a device for it that allows you to capture the data, synchronize it back towards your inventory, so you always again have that single source of truth. Within this screen, I think this one will take a bit more time to explain. You see quite a bit of things. So first of all, if you look at the top left, you see startup. You can capture how long it takes to start up a certain machine. And it can be cleaning the machine. That can be starting up its technology, so putting it on, just as that. And it also, what it helps you to see is if a machine is taking longer, or if a certain shift is taking longer, you can take actions on that. So again, you can increase your efficiency to make sure that your labor is used in an optimal way instead of a little bit of a searching way, because you don't have gathered insights. The same as you can capture exactly how long you produce. You can capture pauses if somebody wants to take lunch. You can report failures, which then will bring a pop-up screen as well to allow you to register what type of failure has happened. So again, this gives you all the data that you need if a machine always has the same failure. Then as a technology or technical manager or facilitator, you know that there needs to be taken some actions. Below that, you can also see the amount of operators you appoint, which again shows you the labor cost per production order, per production line for the day as well, because it captures all that data. Left, you can see some instructions, so you can put in startup instructions for the machine. You can put in production instructions. You can put in as many as you would like in all different languages. Also, you see below that, you see some comments. You can make comments. Hey, from May 2021, we've got a new recipe. Take into account. That will trigger people immediately to look at those instructions, because maybe you've already added that new recipe to ensure that you are incorporated the changes. You can also see that you can register the input. You've got two ways. You can automatically input, which you normally do with goods which are, well, less valuable, or manual inputs. So you can change that as well. The other thing which I saw once slide back is also a quality check. So this also, you saw the app before, is completely integrated with quality. If you register the input, you can register the quantity and also the lot number. So it again allows you to trace completely everything what you put in. I think that's a strong thing, because the lot number is the same as you see in your master data. Here as well, you can see the complete documentation, and as you can see, it is unlimited. You can add as much as you want towards these screens to ensure that your people on the shop floor, instead of looking at a paper, they will see everything in one device, which you, as head of production, can maintain. You are responsible to ensure that those things are covered right.
Yeah, or Robert, it could be a little video or something.
A little video
with your SOPs, etc. Yeah. Okay.
So the other thing which I would like to talk about, and the key reason why we talk about this, is we see this a lot within certain industries within the food, i.e. in meat, cheese, all those type of businesses. We see catch rate. Catch rate well, and I think the lobsters made it a bit confusing. It's not catching how much food you fish or whatsoever. It is what we say a double unit of measure. So within cheese, you got one piece of cheese, which is 500 grams. That calculation always is complex within ERP. This is one of the biggest things, time-wise, that took us to develop to add to this solution. So this part alone of the solution took us more than 1,000 to 2,000 hours to develop. And that's a huge amount of time for one type of module that we have added. So it also enables you to do this completely through the supply chain. So the data is across the supply chain and captured in the same way. So again, you've got that same consistency in your entire process. And it allows you to record the actual physical unit price, but based on the weight. So you've got a box and the price is based on weight. So then you can know that the price reflects the box perfectly based on the kilograms or grams in general or tons, whatever you would do to ensure that the prices are correct.
Okay. Thanks for that, Robert.
Thank you.
So I think we've probably got about 10 minutes left. Just before we go into Q&A, that's just the QR code for our website. You can also go onto Aptean.com. I think you can download a copy of that survey on the website. So yeah, we're just going to open it up to any questions. Okay. Okay, so I think we've got some questions coming in. Okay, does your quality management app integrate with manufacturing systems? And you mentioned data capture. What percentage of this is inputted manually versus machine? Okay, so the quality management app, yes, was that is fully integrated into Business Central, Robert?
Yeah.
Yeah. And I guess you do the percentage that is inputted manually versus machine. So yeah, we can take information directly from your MES system into Business Central if you want and integrate that way. This app also allows you to manually input the data and select reason codes. But it's not a full-blown OEE system as such, but it does allow you to capture downtime. But if you want to get more sophisticated, you can integrate that into a factory system and pull that data all into your ERP.
And maybe to add to that one of the key things which we are about to release as well, because as mentioned, we keep investing in this product, right? So it's always we adding new functionality, new requirements based on questions from the food industry as well, is skill integration, which allows more and more automatically input of those things, which is now maybe done manually. So we keep adding things to make it more easy, to make less manual tasks for the people, to ensure that you will get that efficiency what you want.
Yeah, that's probably worth noting that quality applicant can be used at various stages in the process. Goods in, production, goods out. Okay, so
you can use it in every again. So it is a framework. You can use it on all parts of the entire process that you have. So if it is indeed goods in, you've got a new vendor. You want to ensure that well, your new vendor, you don't know him that well yet. You've not built a relationship. You want to ensure that the quality is right. The same if you've got a new customer, or you've had a non-conformance from a customer recently. You want to ensure that that won't happen again. So you want to spend a little extra time on it. You can set it up on customer based, on item based, on all type of parameters, which again, you as a business define. And ProStrategy is more than willing to advise and as Aptean to show what we are seeing being applied to other companies, maybe similar, but also maybe some different, that we can give each other tips to help each other to be to the next level.
Okay, so just another question, Robert. Do you need to purchase all the Aptean F&B functionality?
No, in general, well, we would love you to if you need it.
Yeah.
But that's one of the key things. You need it, meaning that we will build it on bundles. So the bundles are set in based on what we see in certain industry and customers that we've helped. The bundles are built in that way to ensure that per customer, you will have the right amount of functionality needed to get to your goal. Because eventually, of course, this solution needs to help you, facilitate you reaching your goals.
Okay. Another question: is this a pure cloud solution? Yeah, I guess I'll take that. Yes, and that includes all the apps and everything that you've seen. So obviously Microsoft Business Central 365, fully SaaS in the Azure cloud, and also Aptean, the F&B apps as well. Okay. We will just see if there's any more questions coming in. Okay, there's one more here. I'm not in food, but I see functionality that is applicable to our company. Is this possible? Yeah, I'll take that. We have some customers, like for example, Avonmore Electrical, Major Equipment, who are actually using like the shop floor app and the warehouse management system, or the mobile app. And as Robert said earlier, there's a bundle for those guys. And they also use some of the quality functionality. So you don't need to take all of the apps, you just need to take the specific apps that are relevant to you. And these companies are more in the design-driven manufacturing space. Okay.
And what I really like is that part is honestly, that's also an initiative by ProStrategy itself. They saw that the apps had value for other businesses, so they came with the initiative as well.
Okay.
The hardware.
Yeah.
Do you want me to pick it, or Mark? Do you want you to pick that one? I'm okay with either.
Yeah. Okay. This one from Daniel. What kind of hardware do you generally use on the shop floors, wet environment?
Ruggedized tablets. We have customers who use Apple. We have customers who use Android. As long as it got a operation system on it, it will work. So a lot of times what we see depends also on the amount of money that you want to spend. You will buy certain cases to ensure that those tablets won't break.
Yeah, they might need to be stainless steel cases.
Exactly.
Also, if you're in an environment, like if you're scanning, like in a cold store or something, you may need your scanners to be ruggedized and be able to manage, like, say, -20-degree temperatures. So I guess, yeah, it really depends on your environment. Like if you're power hosing down your shop floor, then yeah, it needs to be in a cabinet that's, that's not going to break. So, yeah. But normally you go to probably a specialized hardware company, and we can recommend. There's a number of companies that we partner with, and that we can recommend.
Guy, I have a question. Does Aptean have a scanning solution?
Yes. So we also, because one of the key things again, it's getting the traceability in. Our scanning solution can even pick up the lot number from your vendor as well. So meaning, as soon as you will get a pallet in, and you have to set it up, of course, you will scan. It will recognize the lot number frequency or the pattern of your lot number from your vendor as well. So you don't have to redo it, and it will ensure that from that moment, your complete traceability in your own process has been covered. So yes, we do have a scanning solution, and it gives you quite a lot of additional things to make sure that you are completely lot traced as is required in the food, right?
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, I think somebody is typing a question. Okay. So how will the future roadmap of the product address change in global Aptean F&B trends?
All right, so
Yes.
I will also pick this one, even though I know, Mark, you probably are quite on the same page. So as mentioned, we are continuously investing in this product. This is for us the key thing, and for the entire organization, the key thing to keep investing in. How will the future roadmap address it? It will look at certain trends, and we've got people in our company who are dedicated at looking what are the changes in the globe. What are the things that we need to take into account? Is it new legislation? All these type of things we take into account, and we communicate together with our R&D and product development teams to ensure that we can incorporate that in future releases.
Yeah,
One other thing.
That's one of the advantage of going with a product like Aptean. You're not going with a base product and having to develop all these. They're already in the product, and you're sort of just following what other countries have done or companies have done. Yeah.
And maybe to add as well, we allow partners like ProStrategy to give input in us as well, what they hear from the market. So meaning both our customers and our partners can give input for, okay, look, we would like to see this type of functionality added. What we will then do is if we see it to be applicable in multiple countries, because of course, if it is a one-time thing, it doesn't make sense for us to build. But if we see it on to multiple companies, we will incorporate that as well. So I think one of the key things which shows that is that we are trying to democratize and listening to the market as much as possible to ensure we are up to date.
And obviously Aptean will always follow the Microsoft trends in relation to SaaS, etc. So,
yeah.
Okay, and I think we've got another few minutes if there's any more questions, guys. Okay. That seems to be all the question. I just want to thank everyone for attending today. I just want to thank Robert for joining.
Thank you.
Thanks, Robert. And I hope you found it informative. We'll probably run some more sessions during 2023. And again, if you do need further information, you can contact us through our website, or you can email myself or Robert directly. Okay.
Thank you very much.
Okay. Thank you very much, everyone.
Guys. Very informative. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank you.
guys.
Bye-bye.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Thank you.